All right. Welcome to our coffee chat. And I am declaring February 25th the start of 2020. Okay, it's January 1st right now in my book because I have just had like the craziest winter and beginning of year of my life ever, even harder than when I first started Beachbody. And I finally just have so much clarity, and I feel like I can be the best leader in person for everyone here today. So I'm saying this on recording on team call to you guys right now because I really just feel different deep down to my core, and I can't wait to look back to this date and this video one day and be like, that's where it all started. So I'm putting it out there, putting those vibes out there. Since we have not only 45 minutes, but we have 45 minutes with Kathi, I'm going to save my rambling. I said I'd only give myself like a minute or two just to kind of like at least get some passion sweats out for you guys, and then I'll hand it over to Kathi. And Kathi, I totally forgot to ask for like accolades and things like that. So when I hand it over to you, maybe just tell us like a little bit about your background with Beachbody, because of course you're going to share your story as well. So here's what I want to say. I've been on this journey for almost 7 years in a couple months, and I've been to, I don't even know, it feels like hundreds of events, but I've done so many calls and so many books and seminars and mentoring, and I've done a lot over the years. And I've come home from events like Summit, feeling that, ooh, I'm excited. But I never truly had I literally know how to go home and do what I have to do. And that's why I love Brendan Burchard, because it's not a hype event getting you excited and then you go home and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? He is someone who does science-backed research. So he is someone who goes to the Olympians. He's Oprah's coach. He works with celebrities, the professional basketball players that are really good at their craft, because you guys are really good at being coaches, right? You're good at being the moms, the dads, you're good at that. But what makes people extraordinary? And the thing that I love so much about this event is that it was the first time that he had done this particular event called HPX, and it's called High Performance Experience. And it was exactly that. And in our business, we teach PD, right? And to me, now I'm thinking, oh my God, PD is so surface level. We can buy all the books and shove our nose in all these books, and yeah, it helps. But if it was truly helping us, we would go from here to here. And so it's this experience that I want to give you guys. And everything he teaches, again, is science-backed research. He spends a lot of money to have lots of interviews done, and he does all the legwork for us to help us figure out how to live that extraordinary life. And the last thing that I'll say is pretty much to kind of give you guys an idea of what we did learn, is we learned how much vibrancy, connection, and meaning impact our life. And so I'm kind of throwing Candace under the bus by speaking for her, but we went to this event being like, we're high performers, we're healthy, like we're excited, right? We work hard, and we came home being like almost scared that this is just the beginning for us. We were schooled on our marriages. We were schooled on our relationships. We were schooled on our self-love. We were schooled on our time management. And we truly came home. And if you've ever been to Summit, you know that you come home and you're like, I have to sleep for 25 days. For us, we are literally like landed, and we just have this sense of peace, and we're processing and we're applying, and it's just amazing. So again, I'm marking today the start of a new beginning, because I never want to go back to feeling so stressed that I feel blocked. I never want to feel so stressed about my invites that I'm forcing them. I never want to come on a team call and feel like I'm dragging the energy. I want to teach you guys. Could you imagine if all X amount, doesn't matter how many, the number, let's just say 100 of us lived our life at a full-blown vibrancy, and you felt confident to go after your dreams with this business and to go back and have a better marriage and be a better parent. Like, imagine where that will take you. And that's the things that I'm committed and willing and honestly going to teach you. And the thing that I love about Kathi speaking to us today is her and I are very similar. We don't bullshit. And the last comment I promise I'll say, and then I have to cut myself off because I will go on forever, is that Brendan reminded me that we can make the choice to improve, or we can make the choice to be extraordinary. It's so easy to get off a team call and be like, I'm going to do better. It is so easy to leave Summit and say, I'm going to do better. But what we really have to say is, I am committed to being extraordinary. There's a huge difference. Think about if your husband was like, okay, honey, I'll do better. You're like, cool, thanks. Or if he was like, you know what, honey? I am committed to being the best me because I want our marriage to be freaking awesome. See the difference? So today, when you're hearing Kathy's story of hardships, and holy wow, has she been through a lot. We relate to each other's stories a ton. I just want you to remember that people that see success in this business are not more talented. They're not more anything than you. They just get really clear on how to handle life obstacles. And that was my biggest connecting piece today. I was like, oh, perfect. Kathy's speaking when I get back. So Kathi, thanks for coming. I'd love to hear again, I didn't get your accolades. I'm sorry. I've been coaching with Kathi for a long time. She has 3 kids. She's busy. She's seen great success. And I think you're going to love her story. And now I'm shutting up.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, Colleen. I am excited to be here. Hopefully I'm not too echoey, but I have my coffee, I have my Energize, I have my water, all that stuff. So I'm going to quickly go over, we might have a little more time than I thought, you know what I mean? It just kind of depends. But I tend to talk a lot too. So I'll quickly go over the accolades, my story real quick, and then I'll kind of go into really what the entire talk with you guys is going to be about today, which I hope you'll find very, very helpful. So yeah, 2-time elite team, founder of Team Forever Strong. I have 3 little kids, ages 7, 6, and a 6-month-old baby. Built a 6-figure business the first 11 months, retired elementary school teacher because of this. And 10-star diamond team as of the first 15 months into the business. And all that is all fine and dandy, right? But at the end of the day, we all know that this is a journey, okay? This is a business. This is about owning your own business and learning the ups and the downs and all of that. And one of the things about me when I first came into this business, guys, was that, first of all, I didn't come into it to make a ton of money. I never had those huge goals. My whole priority of why I began this journey, June 25th back in 2014, was because I was going to have to go back to my teaching career and leave Landon and Kirsten at a daycare. And that's the crossroads that I came to at the time, okay? Kirsten was 4 months old, Landon was 22 months old, and we were in like $35,000 of the credit card debt. We were sinking by $1,000 every single month. We were doing everything we could. My husband was running the businesses on the side of his full-time job. I was tutoring, and we just couldn't make it happen. And then that's when Beachbody came around. And so I did this as a way for me to just be able to earn some extra money so that I could keep being home with my kids. And it wasn't until I actually got into it where I really realized how awesome this really was, and how this was really my thing, and that I just loved having something for me at night to do once the kids went to bed, even though I was tired and things like that. It's like I was home all day long with the 2 little kids. So it's nice to be able to have something for yourself too, where you can connect with other adults and actually talk like a real person. And I loved having that piece of control in my life and making it happen. So literally, that's my quick little blurb. Okay. Now, that sounds awesome, doesn't it? Now, what I want you guys to really write down, and this might be a little bit long, but I just want you to kind of write down this one phrase here, and I'm going to kind of talk about how this ties into my story and my journey over the past almost 6 years now of coaching, is you are the thinker of your thoughts. Now, that might sound like, oh, yeah, that's nice, Kathi, I know that. Just like I said years ago, no kidding, might not really process to you yet, but trust me, you will get to the place in your business where all of a sudden the light bulb will go on and this will actually make sense to you. So write this down. And it's funny, guys, because, when I first started this business, right, for the first solid 2.5 years, I spent all my time running team calls for other leaders in the network, all about mindset and making shit happen fast and no excuses, and you can do this no matter what. And it was all about mindset and being unstoppable and how you can gain momentum fast by taking action in this business. That's what all my team calls were revolved around, because mindset was my strength. And I literally thought in the back of my mind, silly little me, amateur, that for some reason it was going to always be that way. That I was never going to struggle. For some reason, it was like I never thought I was going to struggle with my mindset, because I was like, no way, like that is my strength, that is my jam, this is what people know me for, right? And so people literally couldn't believe and get over how quickly I was able to build the business. And they'd always stop and ask me, or have me run calls on like, how did you do this? Show me what you said. Show me what you're doing. Show me your messages in the inbox. Show me like what that looks like. What are your follow-ups? And they always wanted to know all that stuff. But really, when I would talk to people, I would tell them all about how I'd share with them my scripts. But it was literally because my mindset was so solid. I had so much confidence and energy and enthusiasm and excitement for life in this business and everything, that is what really was drawing people to me. That is what was making it so easy, and well, it felt so easy for people to just want to join me and want to be a part of this, and more people coming to me versus me having to like go to them all the time, which obviously you have to do, but you get what I'm saying. So it was all my mindset and all my belief. And so because of that whole time, right, I was on total fire, right? I felt unstoppable. I had tons of confidence. My energy and excitement was always through the roof. My posting was spot on. Like everybody around me could feel it. My team page was freaking booming. Tons of action, tons of engagement going on in there. And then, oh, also, I was like super spot on, guys, with my workouts and nutrition. So I was literally getting into like the best shape of my life. So I was literally on a high 24/7. And it was just like, this is awesome. Like, mindset's my strength, belief is my strength. I'm going all the way with this business and all that. And that is literally how much unwavering faith and belief that I had in myself. And not only in myself, but in this business as well, in Beachbody. And then the plateau and the roadblocks started to freaking happen. This is where it gets pretty tough here. So, sorry guys, but this is like an essential right now. It's flu A going on over here with my kids. So the kids had flu B 2 months ago. Now they have flu A. So it's like, just can't catch a break. Anyways, so I had been on this plateau now, guys, for 2.5 years. 2.5 years. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Most people would have freaking quit. I know they would have. Most people would have quit. But even though I lost my belief in myself, which I didn't want to ever really admit, that was really what it was. I didn't want to admit to myself that I lost that belief, but I had. And even though I did lose that belief though, guys, I still had to keep the faith deep down and know that I would be able to pull through it, because getting through those tough times is like essential. It's all part of it in order if you want to keep growing and having success, right? So I was seeing people coming into this business anyways having success. So I knew that they weren't special. I knew that it wasn't easier for them. I literally knew that it wasn't like they were gifted some, easy thing. I knew that, well, they can do it like I can do it too. So I had been, but the problem was I had been stuck, guys, at the roadblock, this plateau for 2.5 years. That was the real problem. And I could not freaking figure out why. Trust me, I was doing everything under the sun to try to get to the bottom of this problem, because when I have a problem, I like to be able to solve it ASAP. So this was driving me nuts that for 2.5 years, I couldn't figure it out. And I was still, guys, I just want to make this clear too. I was going through the motions in the business still. I was still always hitting Success Club 10 and doing all of that. So I wasn't like not showing up. I was doing the things, but we all know that going through the emotions is not gonna cut it in any kind of business. You can't just go through the motions. And then I finally had this epiphany, literally back in, God, it was like freaking September. It wasn't September, October. It wasn't that long ago, guys. Okay. I finally had this epiphany. And I was stuck for so long, like I said. My energy was just not the same it was in the beginning. I'm going to kind of go over some of the ways of how this was different and how this was looking different to me, and not only just to me, but people on the outside, like people who were my true friends, like in this business, who would, who could tell a significant difference. My energy, like I said, just wasn't the same as it was in the beginning at all. Things just in general weren't the same. And then I started to have this series of events happen to me in my life and in my business where I started to associate myself now as a failure. Ridiculous. And I started to think, I'm just not good enough for this. Maybe I just wasn't really meant to have long-term success, in this business. Like, what the heck is wrong with me? And so I started to have tons of self-doubt come in and creep in. And I was just really getting myself into a negative mind space, which was driving me crazy because that is not me. Like, I tend to always be, no matter how tough a situation is or how, bad things are happening in life, I tend to always try to cling on to that 1 ounce of hope or, positive peace to get me through it, because I don't like to feel crappy, right? So this was driving me even more crazy, that I just could not, get myself through this. So here are some of the things that were really happening to me. And this was the big difference. So at the beginning, I was pretty much riding the high of the 21-day fix when it first came out, right? I was riding the high of that. So when it ran its course, things were not as fast for me in this business. And that's okay. It doesn't need to be. It's not going to always be a freight train to the top. That's not reality, right? Then we rank advanced to 10-star diamond in the first 15 months. And then shortly after that, coaches started to quit around me on my team. They started to be presented with different other opportunities where, they were dangling the carrot basically right in front of them, and they were attracted to that. So I kind of had to ride that wave out with them, going to other things because they thought it would be easier, that they'd be able to earn more money faster, which we know is all a bunch of BS, right? And then because of this, I started to look within and I started to point the finger at me, because we all know that whatever does or doesn't happen is a direct reflection of yourself, right? It all comes back down to the leader. And so I was like, crap, like I'm obviously not a good leader. Like, why is this happening? So it was like this horrible downward spiral. I started to gradually withdraw from consistently showing up for team calls, right? My team page now, because of this, was starting to slowly die out and dwindle down. It wasn't as booming with energy. I'd go to make a post in it. Nobody would want to really comment except for a couple people here or there. I was in and out of workout programs, and I had actually seriously gained, guys, 30 pounds. And I was heavier then than I was before I even started becoming to be a coach, freaking almost 6 years ago, And the whole thing was just a massive downward spiral. And in my personal life at the time, when I was going through all this, both of my dogs had died within a 5-week span. We had moved from Massachusetts to Florida, which actually was a positive thing, because it was all because of Beachbody that we were able to do that. We were able to move here 2.5 years ago. But again, it was another huge transition of me adapting, leaving all my friends and family up in Massachusetts, starting all over again down here. We had been trying for baby number 3 for over a year, had 4 miscarriages back to back. So I was feeling like, what is happening? Like, what? I don't understand this. Then when I finally got pregnant with Keegan, who's now 6 months old, when I finally got pregnant with him, and he was, 34 weeks pregnant, that's when we found out that my dad was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, and that he was going to have to be, up in the hospital at Mass General in Boston, going through chemo, getting a stem cell transplant. It was going to be a long freaking process. And I, luckily for Beachbody, thank God, did not have to think twice about it, and was able to put the whole family in the car with the dog, drive up to Massachusetts, relocate our family back up there where we rented a house and stayed there for 7 months, guys. Again, it was a positive because of Beachbody, but again, just another hit. Like, that's all I could think about was my dad dying. Like, is he going to get through this? Like, what am I going to do? And I had to deliver a baby up there and all that stuff. But, thank God now he's in remission. Things are going okay. But it was just another one of those things. And as a matter of fact, when I got that call that he had been diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, I had actually had a coach that I had flown down to my house here. It was like our first diamond that I popped in like 2 freaking years. She was actually here, and I was driving her back to the airport to, so she could fly back home to her house when I got that call. And that's literally when everything just changed for me. It was just this crap show, guys, like all around, right? We all know that life happens. People have things that happen. It's all part of it. But what I didn't realize was that every single moment that I was spending dwelling in the past was really just robbing me from a moment in the present where I could do something to grow and change my situation. Like I kept looking back at what I was doing, where I could be, why I'm not there, what's wrong with me, what's wrong, like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of that kind of stuff. And then because I felt so bad for myself, I started to justify it and make it, make myself feel better. So I'd say like ridiculous things like this, like, well, look how far we've come. I mean, this has done way more than we've ever needed it to do or want to do for our family. I mean, the only reason why I came into this anyways was to earn a couple $100. Like, this has been amazing. I was just justifying why I wasn't growing anymore and why I had hit this plateau for so long. But guys, it's way more fun when you're growing, right? It's not fun when you're standing still and you're racking your brains out, right? And you're not growing. And I had just completely flatlined. So it wasn't fun for me anymore. Like I had lost that enjoyment piece. And then this is where the epiphany happened. So yes, the gratitude. Exactly. It is such a process, man. I've learned so much about myself. But I'm so thankful for it because, if I wasn't a part of this and wasn't a business owner, I would have never gone through any of this stuff. So then I listened to this podcast, and this is what you're going to want to write down, because maybe this will help you get over your, bump and not stay stuck in it for as long as I did, because you definitely don't need to stay stuck for 2.5 years. I listened to it's called the Mind Your Business podcast. So the Mind Your Business podcast, and it was episode 114. And the name of the episode was called How to Reprogram Your Subconscious. So how to reprogram your subconscious, how to reprogram your subconscious mind for automatic and lasting high. I was walking around the field. We had dropped the kids off at school a couple months ago back in Massachusetts. They had to start school up there, and we dropped the kids off. We'd go for these walks every single day with the baby, me and Nick and the baby, and we listen to, that's what we do. We listen to personal development everywhere we go, and every day listening. And all of a sudden I had this episode on, and it was as if somebody like turned a light bulb on in my mind. And I heard him say, "You are the thinker of your thoughts." And all of a sudden, my entire life flashed in front of me. I was like, I have been doing this my entire life and never knew why. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I started literally, I had been living, guys, my entire life actually self-sabotaging myself. I had done this in the past. I was never aware of it. I could never recognize it or see it till I was going through with Beachbody and heard this episode and was like, Kathi, you have literally been self-sabotaging yourself your entire life, putting these lies in my head every time that I didn't live up to my expectations. Not expectations that anybody else placed on me, on my standards of where I should be, how good I could be doing, like why aren't I there now? I'd have success, don't get me wrong, a lot of success, but this mental block that I had would stop me from where I could really go with it. I had this mental block. And all of a sudden, all these stories started to come to my mind. I started to think about how I grew up playing basketball. I started when I was in the 3rd grade, right? I was an amazing basketball player. It was my strength. I'd be in the newspaper for highest point earner, getting trophies. I mean, these things, this was important to me, right? I was just like my outlet. I was awesome at it. I'd play the whole game, right? So I was known as this amazing basketball player, right? And then one year in high school, this other girl came along and they started to play her more. Now, did my coach ever say to me, Kathi, you suck at basketball? You're benched for the whole game? No. because I wasn't playing the whole game anymore, and, you know, this other girl was better than I was, I felt like, you know what? Maybe you're just not as good as you thought you were. Just that little thing, right? I just started to put that in my mind. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not that great at basketball. I'll finish the season and I'm not going to play the following year. I mean, I was in the varsity team, you know, as a freshman. And just because of that one thing, right? I was like, I'm finishing the season and quitting. And I stopped after that. Never went back again, right? Then the same thing started to happen when I became a teacher, right? Again, you get all these observations, right, that happen. These people come in, they watch you, they do write-ups on you. Everyone's like, you are so amazing. I can't believe, like, you know, how you were able to handle all this class of 25 kindergartners. Like, that is amazing. They're all sitting there quiet, like listening to you, engaged. Like, that is you. This is a gift. Like, you are meant to do this. And I'm like, I knew I was a great teacher. Then I had one inexperienced principal who had never been a principal before do his very first observation on me. And, you know, instead of peanut butter and jellying it, you know what I mean, guys? You're supposed to say what they did good, tell them what they can improve on, end with it to be good, right? You're supposed to do that with everything in life. It was all like, boom. And I was like, clearly I suck at teaching too, right? So this is what's going on in my brain. Now, did this guy ever tell me that I suck? No, he was just giving me constructive feedback and I was taking it personally, right? And then I noticed now the same thing was happening with my business. And again, guys, all those times that I was making little tiny mess ups or weren't doing as good as I wanted to do myself, not living up to my expectations, falling short on the goals that I set for myself, I literally was looking to myself and calling myself in my subconscious, as much as I didn't want to admit it, you're a failure. Like, you are not meant to do this. That is what I was doing. You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. And I would never quit, guys. I would never quit this. I am not a quitter, right? But I was like, well, I guess I'm just not going to go as far as I thought I would. And it was just a story that I just kept telling myself over and over and over again. And the thing is, guys, like I said, no one ever told me that I wasn't good at basketball, that I wasn't a great teacher, that I wasn't a great coach. As a matter of fact, everybody would tell me all the time, you're amazing at X, Y, Z. They would tell me these things, but I didn't really believe those things deep down of myself anymore at all. So yet I was getting myself into this negative headspace, which was really, 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 really hard. So I could not grow, guys, and get to the next level and break this 2.5-year plateau until I learned these lessons that I needed to learn along the way, right? Which is why I was stuck for so damn long. I didn't realize at the time, and maybe you don't realize it either, just how important it is that you actually do have these failures and have these struggles. It is just as important as you having those small wins and successes along the way, if not more important, if you want to get to that next level. I couldn't really ever wrap my brain around that. It was like I thought I was exempt from that. But it is absolutely 150% essential that you do struggle, that you do fall on your face, and that you actually learn from it and just keep going. I would say this to myself over and over again. I would teach it to my team. I don't think I actually realized and believed what it actually meant once you were actually faced with it, right? So you don't have to stay stuck for as long as I did. So that's the lesson that I learned, was that whatever does or doesn't happen to you guys in life, you're gonna have thoughts about. There's gonna be thoughts that are gonna automatically come, but just be very, very careful about the thoughts that actually go into your mind that you place there, because whether you want to believe it or not, you will start to believe those things. It will affect your energy. It will affect your attitude. It will affect your actions. It will affect every single area of your life. And you put them there. No one else. You are the one that puts them there. And most of the times, a lot of the times, they aren't even true, guys. And so even though I was doing like my workouts and pressing play and things like that before, you know, every day, it doesn't matter. I didn't have a journey or a story for anybody to freaking follow. It was like, there's Kathi doing her workout in the bedroom again. Whoa, whoop-de-doo. Like, yeah, you know, I can join her if I want, but okay, like, why am I following this girl? Like, what is she even doing? Just like I said, like going through the motions isn't enough, guys, in business in general. So when I finally had this epiphany, that's when the switch went on and turned on in my brain. And instantly my thoughts were like, oh my God, Kathi, like you can do this. Like you're friggin' awesome. Like you're a rock star. What are you talking about? Like you are totally limitless. And my energy did a complete turnaround. And no, it does not happen overnight. We know that, right, guys? It is now this has got to stay like this now for a while in order for it, it's a delayed response business in general. It's like that. So you have to stay the course. But my energy did that turnaround. My team page, started to, boom again. I've been able to re-inspire other coaches who have quit or gone MIA in my team. They're at it again. They're excited about it again. My income has gone back up. I've been actually bringing on good quality coaches instead of like, who are these people? Like these aren't people who have any, they're not like me. I don't know where I'm getting these people. Like, where are they coming from? Right? People are actually coming to me again because they can see the shift in my energy and my mindset and my enthusiasm that I have. And I can hit Success Club now way easier, but very easily. Whereas before I felt like it was like twisting people's arms to join me. You know what I mean? Like, why won't they do this? Right? It's much more easy now. And like I said, bringing in the quality coaches. And I actually have a journey for people to follow now in terms of the postpartum journey. So the only one, guys, who can figure it out, is you guys. Like, you can listen to personal development as much as you want. You can do all the things, but at the end of the day, like you have to know that no matter how long of a stuck period you're in, that you're gonna come out of it. You're gonna figure it out. You can figure it out. Everybody else in business who has success goes through this exact same thing. You are not going to be exempt from this. If you haven't already gone through it, it will happen. It's just part of the journey. And welcome those things and be okay with enjoying even the hard times of the journey, and realize that when you go through it, it really doesn't mean that you're a failure. It's just that you need to learn from it in order to get to the next level. And until you actually learn and get through that tough time, you'll always just be here. You'll never be able to just make it a little bit higher above that. So you can craft the world's best invite message. You can copy all of mine that you want. I have coaches on the team. They use my thing. But at the end of the day, guys, if you don't have any excitement for this business, nothing is going to happen for you. You can send those messages out till you're blue in the face. You can make the world's best post. You can get tons of likes and comments on it, but people can tell if you're being authentic and if you're being really yourself and if you're confident and if you're excited and if you have energy. And it doesn't matter, guys, how much money you earn. It doesn't matter if I show people my paycheck. That doesn't do it for people. They want to feel the energy. They want to be a part of something fun. They want to be a part of something that they know that they're going to enjoy, not just a coach that's going through the motions, right? So that is what is important. So do whatever it takes to get that energy and that fire back. That's why still to this day, guys, even before I sit down to do any kind of inviting or talking to anybody, I literally have to put on my pumped up music, like chug and energize. If that doesn't cut it, I have to listen to like the MFCEO Project podcast or somebody that's going to fire me up and give me. I like to listen to tough love people. I think that's because that's how I am. And I need people to talk that way for me in order for me to get my ass in gear. Like I don't deal well with people just beating around the bush, Like I need people to be like, Kathi, what the hell are you doing? Like, is this your business or is this just a hobby? Like, you're not treating it like a business, I need people to like kind of be hard on me like that nowadays in order for me to do it. So Beachbody is not broken. Okay. The company is definitely not broken. There are people coming in all the time, earning tons of income, skyrocketing past you and me. And it has nothing to do with you or the business. It has to do with the story that you're telling yourself, the thoughts that are in your subconscious that you don't even know are there. And you can do this. And one of the tips that I did, or one of the things that I actually had to do that really helped me was, people always say, like, look in the mirror and say the things that you want to accomplish. Like, I want to be an elite team, or, we are an elite team, or whatever. It's all these goals is what I'm trying to say. And at the end of the day, you can sit there and look at yourself all day long, and you can tell yourself that you want to be a six-figure earner, or that you are a six-figure earner, that you are debt-free, you are an elite team, you are a top 10 whatever it is. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. Because if you don't believe that you possess the characteristics of someone who can go to achieve those things, it's never going to happen. So I made a whole list of things, of characteristics, that I want to believe of myself, that I believe to be true. And so instead of me, I don't look in the mirror and say those goals anymore. Because if you believe that you do possess those characteristics, then when you're putting in the right actions, you're going to hit those goals. So people have it backwards, like say that you are the goal, but it's like, well, you're not going to get to that goal unless you are the type of person that's going to hit that goal. So, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like how I had to change things around for myself. And it's a journey. You got to enjoy every step of the way. I put on my phone here. Where is it? Oh, Jesus. So many things on this phone of mine. It's nothing but an unorganized cluster. But yeah, I wake up every single morning and I say, morning. There's my Boston accent coming out for you. Just don't mind me. And I heard something a long time ago that said, everything by my divine right comes to me today in perfect order. And I literally say that to myself every single morning. Basically, like, however this day goes is how it is meant to go, because everything by my divine right comes to me today in perfect order. It's why I had to rush out the door and go to urgent care earlier with Nick and the baby and my other child who's sick with flu A to try to get me and Nick on Tamiflu. And it was this big thing. And then we had to run to Walgreens. And then I was like, oh my God, grocery delivery is going to be here any minute. I'm not going to stress because we're not home, but everything by my divine right comes to me today in perfect order. And guess what happened? As we pulled in, the guy had literally just gotten out of his car and was waiting in my driveway. And I say those things. And then I also have that list of, it's basically a list of positive affirmations for myself, the type of person that I am. And I read those things every single day to myself. So guys, there's going to be tough times. Hopefully it doesn't last as long for you as it did for me, but it was meant to go that way for me, guys. And, even now to this day, we're still trying to get ourselves back into a routine, guys. Things aren't perfect. It's not like I dropped the ball and was like, screw it, not doing anything. I mean, we just came back down to our house here, like literally 5 weeks ago. I still have to redo this whole room and turn it into a nursery. We've had people visiting us every other week. It's just the way that it's meant to go right now. So anyways, I think that's basically it in a nutshell.
That is everything you said, seriously, especially with this, my past 6 months, this event. By the way, you're an amazing speaker, Kathi. You've always been a great speaker. But
thanks, Colleen.
You need a microphone and get on stage.
I'll put that on there next. Right now I'm working on my book.
Yay. Oh yeah, that's right. You are writing a book. I love it. I want to kind of just like sit in that thought that she just said. Wait, you say it again, the divine timing thing?
Yeah, everything by my divine right comes to me today in perfect order. It basically is just like, we get so stressed out with how, oh God, there, we got to go there. But there's only so much that you can control. And everything is happening today the way that it's supposed to happen, and it's happening for you and not to you. And the more that you can really realize that, the much less stressed you'll be every day.
I love it. And what I'm so excited. So this is kind of where, so right now, guys, your mind and body is activated. But when you get off this call, what comes next? And this is what we learned this weekend. I'm so excited.
Whoop.
So there's 3 things, guys, that make this happen. It doesn't matter what business you're in, okay? Like, let's pull Beachbody aside. You guys are on like a badass woman empowering talk right now, okay? Beachbody business aside, businesses in general, all across the board. In order for you to be successful, you are in charge of your mind and body activation. So if you're wondering why at events, they start with music and they require you to stand up and they require you to say things, it's because you don't want to. And you have to get used to literally pushing through that uncomfortable, I do not want to stand up right now and clap and generate energy. And I don't want to say the things that he's telling me to say. And by the end of the event, you realize, holy shit, this is why people are extraordinary, because they're doing that mind-body activation, okay? The second thing is your achievement strategy. So right now, your mind and your body is like, yeah, Kathi just dropped the mic, but now you're going to go back to regular life and just feel like this. No more hot mess. Like, I'm so excited to help people take that hot mess terminology and debunk that. Like, you can be a high performer. You can be Oprah, but guess what? Oprah does not walk around being like, I'm a hot mess. She doesn't act like that because she has the achievement strategy to keep life a little bit more calm. And just like Kathi said, the groceries were coming, urgent care, mom life, I got to get on this call, all this stuff. But because she had a strategy, she kept her cool. And then the last part is people skills. None of us can be successful in life without people skills. That comes down to your relationships, the relationships you have with your family. It comes down to the relationships with your children, your team, and your social media. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but these are like the 3 things that I'm so excited to teach you. So let Kathi's story literally be proof that it starts with that mindset. And I promise, and I'm dedicated to helping you guys learn everything we just learned. And I hope that you guys continue to show up on these amazing coffee chats to hear other people's stories and start to collect these stories as your own, because there's going to be a part of Kathi's story. I mean, I can relate to the cancer thing in my life. I can relate to that, like that crossroad that she talked about when it was, I had to go back to teaching, right? And so take these stories as a tool in your tool belt to remember that when it gets hard, you can't think that something is broken. You can't think that the thing that we talked about at the event about self-hate is you are too mature. Like, guys, I'm 34. Let's just all average. You're 30 years old. You are too mature to be sitting there beating yourself up that you think you suck and blah, blah, blah. I'm not confident.
Right.
We're too mature to not manage our time, right? And I'm going to teach you time management strategies. It's just going to be awesome. I'm so excited. I'm such a nerd. Kathi, you should totally do HPX. Like, it would even give you more strategies to like help people in teams. I think you'd be so good at it.
Oh my God, I gotta definitely check it out. Like, guys, this whole time while I was going through this, right, I had actually started writing an interactive children's book to help young children develop a positive and growth mindset at an early age. Yeah. So I'm going through this and I'm like, you hypocrite! I'm getting so mad at myself. You're sitting here. You're trying to teach your kids this. What would you say if your daughter or son was saying you're thinking these thoughts right now that you're thinking? And I'd be like, but I just could not get. I didn't really realize that I was thinking those things. Like, I'm like, this is insanity. But you know, you get at the end of the day, it is literally those internal thoughts in your subconscious that are preventing you. They are. That's why my list right here, when I have all my things down here that I say off every day, I am confident. I am a leader of leaders. I am a leader. I am consistent. I follow through with things and finish them. I am enthusiastic. I am courageous. I'm a dreamer. I'm solution oriented. I have a growth mindset. I am blessed. I am intentional with my time every day. I say that. Like, you got to make your list of things, because the more that you tell yourself these things and then visualize how that can actually affect your life, that's when it's going to change, because your subconscious doesn't know the difference anyways between reality and fantasy. So if you can like trick your brain, right? That's how it ends up happening.
We talked about that. And again, I hope I'm not throwing Candace under the bus by kind of sharing a piece of her experience here, but ever since I moved to Tahoe, I've been able to do that mind body activation of, so when I started coaching, I could close my eyes and I could see myself having my first dance with Sean and saying, babe, we did it. My goal was, so I put my wedding off for 2 years so that I could work my business and be able to say, babe, we did it. I just wanted that like solid foundation of life going into marriage. And I was able to sit there and dream about that first dance. And if you cannot do that, if you can't sit there and visualize and dream it, you just have to practice. So Candace, I got tingles at Brendan's event. We did this visualization exercise and I was like, oh my God, I had tingles. My exact word was, I feel like I have rainbows coming off my chest. It felt like this out of body experience. And people think it's this hippie shit. I'm like, no, that's high performance stuff where people learned how to activate their mind and body. And Candace is like, oh, I didn't feel anything. I'm like, we just have to practice, right? And so I think by the end of the event, she started to feel that like, oh, this is where this is going. I wanted to kind of say too, so Kathi realized that as a young girl that she was beating herself up, also as an adult, right? She was judging herself as a person. And what Brendan talked about was don't judge your personhood, measure your practices. So you have to take a look at what you're doing, what you're thinking. It's not your identity. It's not Colleen sucks. I'm a bad coach. I'm a bad mom, like all whatever. Or, you know, I hear in my groups, like this one girl still posts, I'm fat. I'm like, and she's not, but she like literally writes, I'm fat. And she's judging herself as a person rather than being like putting the time into talking about the nutrition and the food and the practices. And that's so helpful in the coaching world when you're working with your coaches is, don't judge the person. Let's look at their performance, right? Don't judge the performer. Let's talk about their performance because I really can't change that person, but I can help them change their habits. I can help them change their performance. And I could go on forever, but it was like perfect. I really hope that you guys go listen to that podcast too. And I think that full immersion in personal development is important. But the thing that Candace and I came home saying was, I think too many of us are stuck in PD and we're not involving ourselves and immersing ourselves in experience. And I'm not saying you have to go buy a Brendan Burchard ticket to go to his event, but I do feel like you guys need to invest, whether it's your emotional energy, like for all you, I don't like people, I don't want to hang out with people, I'm an introvert. You're trying to help people change their lives. That doesn't really align. So guess what I did this year? I hate mommy groups. I literally want to die. And I said, I'm going to start doing all the things that I'm like, nope, boundaries, so not me. And so I went to that charity event, which is like painful for me to sit there. And when people are like, what do you do? Who are you? Like that surprisingly is actually like, I'd rather die. Okay. And so I was like, I'm going to go do all those things. So whatever it is that you're not willing to do to become the person and feel the feelings, we are so good at putting the wall up because you think that you are XYZ, introvert, extrovert, not a people person. There's some healing we have to do there. And you know what happens at the end of the day when we start to immerse ourselves in experience? Freedom. Your sense of purpose will come too. If you guys are like on this mission, like I was, to find some direction and some purpose and like, what is that far off vision? Imagine waking up and feeling so organized with your day because you know where to spend your time. Your thoughts are in control. Your relationships are blooming. I don't have to walk into the kitchen and like growl at my husband because I don't know how to communicate and our relationship sucks. I walk into the kitchen and it's like rainbows coming off my chest together. Like that is to me a life of freedom. And so when we start to do all these things that we're going to do over the next forever and evers together, just know that whatever it is that's inside of you that you have put up these walls that you don't do, I don't do this, remove all the titles. This is the experience that we talk about. Okay, I'm done. Does anyone have a question for Kathi that you guys wanted to ask?
I'm here for Thrap's Death 52 class.
Okay, Kathi wants a rap. Sarah wants a rap. Wait, did I mute you, Kathi? Sorry, I did.
Oh, no, I'm muted. Hold on 1 second. I just gotta go grab the baby. 1 sec.
Go ahead. Okay, so since Kathy's over there, I wanted to say, I actually had a note to say it first, but I got too excited about sharing all this with you guys. This is so random. So like, we're switching gears to like most random housekeeping items ever. But we want to make sure that you guys understand as a coach that we have this responsibility to lead with integrity, that when you're talking to new people on Instagram, when you're talking to new people, it's very important that you ask them if they have ever worked with a coach before. Are you currently working with a coach? Something along those lines, because sometimes lines get crossed and people literally are naive and they don't understand how this process works. It's happened with me and Candace because we're always like tagging each other and things. It's happened with me and other coaches on my team. It's happened with other friends. And so do yourself a favor as a community. Hi, Keegan. Oh my God, he's so cute. To just say, hey, have you ever worked with a coach before? And I like to ask it that way, because then if they've worked with a Beachbody coach before, I kind of go into the conversation a little bit different as someone who's never worked with a Beachbody coach before. And you'll get the story from them. And sometimes people will be like, oh, I found you from Candace, or I found you from, I'm making this up, but Kathi, and so it's just good to define that before you enter the process. So integrity wise, just wanted to say that. And then now what I'm going to do with the the 2020 business boot camp is I'm probably going to share less podcasts with you guys over the next few months, probably up until summer. And I'm going to do more live videos training on the high performance series and how it applies to life and business, and give it to you guys in the way that I know will connect with you. So we might have a podcast party here and there, but I feel like now I want to really take this message and be the podcast party for you guys. So that's going to change up a little bit. Kathi, real quick, do you have a second?
Yes, I have a second.
Okay. Hi, Keegan. Oh my God, so cute. At the event, Brendan asked us to share our 5 success markers. So the question for you would be, if you do these 5 things consistently in your business, you see success. Oh. Can you, I know off the top of your head, think of those things?
Yeah, well, that's definitely easy. So it was, it's always the things you don't want to do, right? So I always say, I'm going to give you the actual actions that you have to do. But before I would even say that you need to do those actions, definitely master your mindset. So make sure that your mindset is where it needs to be, because this business working, or any business, is like 90% of that. So get that squared away. So get your energy and confidence up. Then you need to talk to people every single day. Okay, I'm talking behind the scenes. You got to talk to people every single day and invite them along on the journey. You need to follow up with people every single day, and you need to build real relationships with people every single day. And then you need to add value on social media every single day in some way, shape, or form. Humor, a tip, something about your life that's relatable, something vulnerable. Does not need to be about health and fitness, something about you, but it's those 5 things. So get your mindset in check, and don't even bother sitting down to do any of the other things until you feel like a badass. Like, don't even bother, because it's not going to work. You're going to be wasting your time. Mindset, right? Invite behind the scenes, follow up, build new relationships and make new connections, and add value every single day. And if you do that every single day, that's what the business activity tracker is for, guys. If you do those things every single day, day in and day out, you will build a business. You will have success.
I love it.
Yep.
Hi, Mr. Pookie. Oh my God.
Hi, guys.
He's 6 months, Kathi?
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
He's a big 6-month-old baby. He's 22 pounds.
And he looks so different from the other 2.
I know, huh?
So cute.
I know, thanks.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. Seriously, I could have listened to your story over and over again. Maybe it's just me, but so powerful. I really hope this connected for you. I'll share the recording in the page. And Kathi, if I can return the favor in any way, you let me know.
Definitely. Can we do a picture though first before we go?
Yes, yes, yes.
We got to document this memory, guys.
Yes, because this is our new beginning right here. That's for sure.
This is where it begins. You don't need January 1st for your new beginning. Okay, ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me. Hope you guys get something helpful out of it. And if you have any questions about anything, I am here to help and happy to answer anything.
Thank you. And tell everyone at the house and Nick I said hi.
Yes, same with you too, Colleen.
Thank you.
All right, bye, guys.